So welcome again, those who just joined me. My name is Aina. I am an agile coach with a diverse background. My first degree was a master's in engineering. Then I pursued business and completed MBA in Canada and ended up as an agile coach in IT field and like learning and teaching people. And that's why I'm doing this webinar. Actually, why I decided to talk about Miro. Well, I joined like last 2 or 3 years when we became more and more diverse and have distributed teams. Most people outside of being like a Scrum Master or Agile coach roles, they simply don't know about different tools and keep using simple tools such as PowerPoint for information sharing and information radiator. And I'm not against the PowerPoint. It's a great tool for sharing. But when we just share information, it's kind of we talk about work, we don't do the work. And also it's hard to facilitate meetings, especially when people are off camera. So first, probably 6 months, it was a trend to push and force people to be all day long on cameras, but it's also exhausting and challenging because being on camera is not natural. So for example, if you are like in the regular meetings, especially if it's like internal team meeting, you can eat some snack during someone else is presenting. It feels normal. It feels like usual. Or if you just like make some poses like this, or and it's okay, like you are paying attention or like you're writing down. But when you are on camera, so like sitting like this way might look weird, or like making like different poses with different faces when you just like trying to concentrate or like coming closer to the screen like this, just like to try to absorb information. It also looks weird, or sometimes you just neck hurt and you start doing some like exercises, which also looks weird on camera. So it's understandable why people prefer camera off if it's not relevant to stay on cameras. But like for the facilitators, how can we see the reaction? How can we understand that people perceive the information? And even like if the person is still here or like didn't go somewhere else, I don't know, to bring some coffee or make light lunch or like whatever. So that's why I started utilizing Miro more often than before, because I decided to switch from information sharing to facilitation and open workshop. So today, unfortunately, we are not going the workshop because it's a simple introductory webinar. But if you joined my bootcamps, which are paid, but we spent 4+ hours working in details on facilitation or like other events I'm facilitating. So there we are getting handy and doing full workshops and learning how to use tools I'm presenting. So what you see on my screen is kind of like about myself. So you see that I can place text from, and I did it from my website. So if you're curious, you can read it. I also can place photographs, like 2 main achievements of 2022. And you see, you could do it in PowerPoint as well. So you could use 2 tools like PowerPoint for initial presentation and then the Miro Boards for the workshop. But you don't have to use 2 tools. You can use Miro Board as a PowerPoint as well if you want to create slides. So you see this format kind of like looks similar to the slide. You can utilize one tool, so it's easier for your audience if they're not familiar with tools. And it's easier for you because you don't have to share many screens. And before we jump into the tool itself, how to use it, and tips and tricks how to build boards very quickly and very efficiently, for those who are not familiar with Miro at all, I prepared a few examples on what actually you can facilitate in Miro. So the first board is in agile style, roles, thorns, and blocks. And since I'm presenting, it takes some time to upload the board, even though I am prepared it. Also, it's kind of like one of the disadvantages in Miro. It takes some time to upload. So this is a simple framework you can use to facilitate your meeting. And this is already prepared, so you can just upload it or copy paste and use for your workshops with your teams or even with the stakeholders. So here the idea is to brainstorm and to retrospect on what was well, what was wrong, and what we want to continue doing, an action plan. So you see, like a very simple example, but just call it a bit differently, like rose, thorn, and bud. And here we can see a brief description of what we want to do. We see the stickers, and you can use the stickers if you don't have enough on the board, and just simply write on them what was good. For example, I love design. When you see if people are on the Miro board, it's easy for you to track what they are doing, that they are here, they are present, they are at their screens, and they are actively participating rather than passively listening. So that's how you create a workshop here on this simple board. So as a facilitator, first you introduce the rules, the agenda, what it is, how to use it, what we are going to talk about. And then when people participate in the first question, signify to success, what is working well related to the focus area, you just track what they write, and during the timer, so you can set up a timer as well, for example, 5 minutes. So while they brainstorm, while they actively work, you do some affinity mapping and connecting some similar topics, and then a facilitator, you don't have to call out all people or all stickers, you just address some topics by marking them in a different color to make sure that you can identify the difference. So for example, this is like a breakout session. So again, you don't have to call out all stickers, you just call out people who participated in this area. So that's how you can minimize the time working on the brainstorming, because for business, time is money. So when I just like start introducing this board to some businesses, they kind of like resisted to it because like, why are we bringing all of these people together? How many people are going to participate? Like 60 plus people or even more. So how much money is going to cost for a business to do so? But you don't have to have like long workshops, like 2 hours or 3 hours to accommodate this like 60 plus people. 1 hour could be enough if you prepare it in advance, if you prepare the design and prepare agenda and know what you do during the facilitator, and also do the affinity mapping during the workshop. So this was a simple board on how you can start if you are not familiar with Miro at all, if it's your first time using it. So what I would recommend, again, look for a simple board related to the agenda you want to address, simple stickers, and use the timer. So use a minimum of a board. Remember that importance is the information and the brainstorming and the results, the action items, and that people understand what they need to do next rather than board itself. So you might wonder right now where you can download this board. So if we go to the Miro starting page, you can see here that you can create a new board from scratch. You have all of these designs like Kanban framework, mind map, quick retrospective, customer touch points, brain writing, etc. And it's not all. So if I click on show all, we see use cases like meetings and workshops. And you see numerous designs for meetings and workshops, brainstorming and ideation, numerous designs for that, agile workshops, mapping diagramming, research and design, strategy and planning. We also see the tool like Miroverse or Miroverse, depends on where you are, we can call it differently. So here we have additional templates from different people just like submitting it. So we see like Arek, Dvornichuk, Maria Ram, and the other people. So if you are advanced in Miro and you don't see the workshop you would like to use, or like the template, if you can create your own template, so you can submit it to Miro Boards, and eventually it will be published and should be helpful for the other people like us. Or icebreakers, another template, very useful tool if you started with your new team and not sure how to ice break online when people are off camera. So you might simply use one of the designs, for example, game board. So you just click use, and it's going to be uploaded on the new board. Again, it takes some time. It's coming, it's coming. Be patient. Patience is not my thing. Okay, we're getting here. Yeah, so we see this beautiful design just uploaded to the board, and we even don't need to work on it. 943 objects, that's why it took so long time to upload it, but it's worth it. So if, again, if you're not familiar with Miro and don't know how to design, just spend some time choosing the appropriate design. There are numerous in there where I just showed you, and you can find the board for any specific meetings or occasion you want to facilitate. Another workshop I wanted to show you, and this is what I commonly use for my boot camps or for my organizational works, is the team alignment and also OKR planning. So for the team alignment, I normally create an agenda, and it's also like some engaging way with the roadmap and with the strategy planning. So again, bear with me, it's coming. We're almost here. I won't probably show you OKR. I will just share the link because it takes so much time to load. I'm very respectful to your time. So, few more seconds. Yes, we have our agenda. So again, like simple design, not designed by me. I just modified it a little bit. So bigger picture team alignment workshop. So for the agenda, we have purpose, we have process, we have background, we have our roadmap, which is from introduction and check-in and strategy and kind of like break time and team exercise, debrief, and wrap up next steps. So you see, you can present this in a funny way during your workshops, which is way more engaging than have just like a Word document or Excel sheet and being talking head. Now imagine I won't share the screen and just keep talking. So guys, today, the purpose of this webinar is to learn about Miro Boards. The process we're gonna use, you just keep hearing me and seeing my Word document notes or like, etc. So it's boring, you would probably be bored like in 5 minutes or even sooner. But having this engaging tool like participants, so we see and can identify ourselves to choose the appropriate color, to write down the name, to brainstorm on the results, to describe the situation, have a break, a cup of coffee, having an agenda, introduction, check-in points where we can write down our questions, and then move on to the meat of the meeting, which is talking about strategy. And again, this simple design helps people to be engaged and to participate from the beginning to the end and be heavily involved, actively involved, and feeling inspired rather than tired and bored at the end of the meeting. So here design is already prepared as well. So what is our strategy today? And you see some stickers where people can write some notes, for example, learn about Miro or Miro. What is our challenges? for example, we need to pay for this.
Aina, may I ask you?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Is it a good one for working on OKRs?
Yeah, you can use it for OKRs as well. I have another one for OKR. I can present it when I finish with this one. But it's for OKRs as well. So what this specific design is good for? It is good for team alignment. It's good for team introduction and icebreaker. It is good for like high level strategy, and it's also good for OKRs. And I also prepared kind of like simulation of what team was brainstorming. So our purpose of today is to create individual and team strategies for remote work. The process, 4 hours with 2 short breaks and 1 longer. In the background, we seriously need to get aligned on how we take a digital leap for remote meetings. So you can use this for this purpose or OKRs or adjust for your own needs. You might not use, for example, these flowers if you don't want. You can modify it a little bit. So here during the introduction, we posted some pictures to talk about not just about ourselves, but also what skills we need, what is remote work for us, what might be gained and what might be lost. So again, this is just like a framework. You can modify it and use for different purposes. You can even use it with executives. I noticed it's like if it's a small startup, executives are more like open-minded and easygoing. So they might like this cute people and cute designs. If executives are more like conservative, you might use a more conservative design. And thank God we have plenty of them in Miro. And this OKRs, I prepared this as more conservative and specific for OKRs. So again, let's wait for a bit more seconds. I will take a quick break to sip my tea. It's coming. Okay, this is a little bit more conservative design. So you see again, OKR planning, so people already know what they're going to do and why they're here. So we introduce in time, 1 hour, 15 minutes, people from 6 to 12. A little required facilitation experience, keep objective concrete. So kind of like what we're going to do, limit the amount of OKR. So it's kind of like help for a facilitator if facilitator is not experienced with OKR. OKR planning team name. So you see the similar with the PowerPoint slide. So it's kind of like slides being presented in Miro. Here we have the team members already prepared. So you see like some people might represent executives, some people might represent team members, some people are like more conservative based on the picture, some people are more fun, but here is the purpose of it is to align people and make sure that we are focusing on our objective key results. So again, to break the ice, we can create this frame for the introduction. So you see Tina kind of introduced herself. So she speaks about herself. She's brave, honest, supportive, empowering the team to come to agreement, etc. So as a facilitator, we can use like 3 minutes using the timer right here. We can adjust the timer and have 3 minutes. Start the timer. So give people 3 minutes so they can introduce themselves, writing on these stickers already prepared. Then we can speak like another like 3 minutes or so about introduction and then move on to the main part of the meeting, why we are here. The objective for Be Agile, which is my company, kind of like brainstorming for myself. At least one person will be able to go through end-to-end process and order my product. So that was my key result for February 2022, increase awareness of my product by 5% by using social media. Well, question and answers, another part of this workshop. So whoever has a question, so if it's like a small workshop, people can participate on the fly and raise their questions during the brainstorming. But if we have more people, it's kind of challenging for facilitator to keep the timing. That's why we might create this additional frame and ask people to post their questions during the webinar, because we don't want them to forget their questions. We also want them to be heard. So as a facilitator, you can address this frame and ask them to post their questions as soon as they get them. But as a facilitator, again, address it when you find the time appropriate. So for example, if we are introducing the fourth question and the fourth person and someone has a question, so we might postpone this question until all people introduce themselves, but we don't want this person to forget this question. So that's why we might use this frame. Brainwriting, what topics should we focus on? Again, it's something like after we identify OKRs, and we might have more OKRs than we expected. So kind of using this voting tool from different people and vote on what is the most important OKR. So if we decide that we will have 3 yearly OKRs, so whatever, like find the most voting, these OKRs we are going to use. Breakout groups, again, if we have numerous stakeholders. And next steps, that's why we are talking about OKRs and any other meetings we have. So what are our next steps? So we identified, let's say, 3 objectives. And again, this kind of like funny cartoons. If you have a conservative audience, so you might find more like business appropriate type. So we want to talk about risks after we identified our OKRs, our objectives. We want to speak about unknowns, and we want to speak about the next steps. So these are the boards I wanted to show you. I also want to show you one cool website for the retro ideas. But before I do it, any questions on this one or the material I just shared from the beginning?
May I ask? So even for me, interesting you to show your OKRs. Is it your case that you did with your team somehow, or you did it like by your own, define those OKRs?
So for my personal OKRs, I did it by my own because I have 2 contractors for Be Agile right now, and since they are contractors, they are paid, so they don't really care about my OKRs. But working for organizations, and so I'm an Agile coach, and I have 6 teams right now and stakeholders. So I use these 2 workshops for my teams as well, and for like the previous one, this one with Lydia, Jessica, and etc. I did it with my team. And I also did OKRs with my teams as well, but I am not allowed to share my corporate OKRs.
Yeah, I got. So you did the same steps just by your own using this Miro, let's say, framework from like a tool of Miro.
Yes. So for myself, I definitely don't need this like question and answer, for example, because I'm on my own. I can ask myself questions and answer to myself wherever I want. So if you use some designs for yourself, you might like delete a few words because they are not applicable for yourself. But yes, you can use it for yourself, and you can use it for the large audience as well.
Okay, also another question is regarding team alignment workshop. What was the main goal of this workshop? And if it's real case, maybe you can give some assumptions, what was the main goal and what you achieved. Just interesting, because it's like a real one case that you did with your team.
Absolutely. So the real case, I joined the new platform, I'd say like 6 months ago, approximately. So the teams are already been working with Agile and were mobilized, but when us Agile coaches joined them, we figure out that it's still kind of like waterfallish approach. They still have like team of BSAs, business analysts, who write stories, and then they deliver the stories to 2 teams of developers. We had one small team of APIs and another team working on Salesforce and tools. So we found out that these teams were misaligned, and then we started doing the workshops for them. So we had a first like initial workshop to figure out their work and their workflow and what is their purpose. So they kind of like faced the identity crisis. They realized that their work is not sufficient enough because the BSAs, they keep writing stories, keep collaborating with the customers and the stakeholders, and then delivering them to developers. And developers didn't understand the work, so we needed to have like numerous meetings with the BSAs. And then when developers asked specific questions, BSAs didn't have the answer, so they needed to go back to the stakeholders or to the customers and to collect their feedback. So it was too long, so teams felt that they have an identity crisis, and us coaches helped them to reshuffle and restructure the teams, having BSAs, developers, testers, product owners, Scrum Masters in one team. So we still kept one team of APIs. So we kept one team of Salesforce web and tools, but instead of having a team of business analysts and team of developers, so we reshuffled and combined them together. So these people, they used to work together, but in different teams. They used to work in Agile. So we mobilize them and kind of like refresh their memories on Agile. So the purpose of this specific workshop was to create individual and team strategies for remote work and how we can work together and to have a team alignment, because working in one team, they kind of like used to one structure, for example, start meetings at 8 a.m. In the current team, we had 2 people who needed to drop kids to school at 8 a.m. and could join meetings at 8:30 only. And we had also people from India and other countries whose hours were limited due to their time zone. So we kind of like could have meetings until 11:30 maximum. So the purpose of this specific workshop, which was to align the team on our new structure, new rules, new work agreements, and also decide the strategy for the next 6 months until the end of the year, and also identify what kind of pain they are facing. So, for example, it was a marketing team, so stakeholder, client, buy-in, engaged team in visual and digital collaboration. So we can see that this case is from BSAs and marketers. So this is their pain, their challenges, the solutions. So what we want to achieve, a brighter future, this pain, that vision, team feels engaged and empowered and connected. And so all team members, we had 9 people, so they addressed their current situation, their challenges, what they plan to do tomorrow, and solutions how to get to this happy person who is tomorrow. Hope I answered the question. Anything else?
Yes, thank you. So as I understood, it could be used for a case that need to be come to agreement.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Thank you. I saw some questions in the chat, maybe.
Yeah, let's go to the chat. Please, can I get recorded video? I need to watch again to understand you fully. Is there a template of Miro for OKR planning? Yes, I will share the video later, and that's why I am recording it. And all templates I am sharing, you will receive in links. And if you are my first connect on LinkedIn, I will be able to share it right after the meeting. If you are a second or third connect, please connect with me, so I will be able to send you a message. And also for these workshops, no, I will delete this specific case from my team because it's kind of like sensitive corporate information, but you will see the empty framework right here. So without the answers, so you can utilize it for your work as well.
That's great. Thank you.
You are welcome. All right, the last website I wanted to show you is where I get ideas for my cool retrospectives. So I accidentally, like a few years ago, I accidentally found a cool guy. His name is Chris Stone on LinkedIn. And I'm showing you right now. So this guy, I will also send you a link on him. So virtual agile coach, and you can see the template for a retrospective here. So he creates cool retrospectives and posts them on his website where we can download them and use for free. So this is how this website looks like, the virtual agile coach.co.uk retros. So you can see like new styles like Pixar. I didn't see it, the first time seeing it. A Journey retro, SpongeBob retro. So let's say, for example, SpongeBob retro. If I click on that, you see you can use it in Miro, or Mural. Mural is a similar tool. I use it as well. What I noticed, Mural is a bit more popular in Europe than in North America, but it takes me even longer to download Mural. And you notice that when I tried to show you the templates for Miro, it took some time to show them on a screen. With a Mural, it takes even longer. That's why I am doing it in Miro. So you see this workshop, you can download your template. So it's downloading right now. So let me see my downloads folder. Loading again takes some time. Yes, here. So now you can see how unorganized I am and having all of these files in my downloads folder. So you see SpongeBob retro. So it's in archive now, so extract to SpongeBob retro. Extracting. So here we are. So this is how this file looks like. And now what we do, we are going to Miro board. Better. This one's not as long to download. Just close. few more seconds. Okay, almost here. Oh, this is another template, just awareness is kind of like waterfallish template I use sometimes to identify the deadlines and to address the most important pivoting points during my journey. But what I wanted to show you right now, I want to come to our main page where we can see upload from backup. So when I click here, obviously it will take us some more time to upload. So we are coming to my downloads, where we see the SpongeBob retro. Clicking on this and opening.
Here I have a question.
Yeah.
For example, you showed us some of your like team alignment workshop, OKR planning. Is it possible to do to download those let's say structures and to share it, and we can download it and upload to Miro if it's possible to do?
Yes, it is possible. So yeah, I also didn't create them from scratch. I found them on one of the websites. I can have a look the original where I found them. So you can download them or copy paste it to your empty board and modify the way you want.
Yeah, it would be great because it's interest. It would be interesting to try it in practice, because it's for somehow it's kind of theory, but would be great to try what you showed us today.
You know what I will do? I will prepare a list of top 10 frameworks I use for my work.
Yeah, it would be great. Thank you.
You're welcome, and we'll share the links with you. So this is the easiest way how to upload the retrospective. So as I showed you, we are going to this website, just choosing the best retro for us, downloading it for free, and then just upload into the new Miro Boards. And here we are, the template is ready. What we need to do is just to facilitate. So this is the first part of the webinar, what I wanted to show you today. The second part is, what if we need to create a board from scratch? So again, real case scenario, we had a quarterly increment planning last week. And we had it until 12 p.m. Until noon, because we had distributed teams. So people in India and Europe and Africa needed to go to sleep after 12 p.m. our time, Eastern time. So that's why we had it 4 days rather than 2 days. And at the end, so we decided to have a retrospective at 1 p.m., not with all team members, but the key stakeholders, because most key stakeholders are from North America. So it was a last minute decision to have this retro, and right like 10 minutes before the lunchtime, I got a message, hey, would you like to facilitate a retro with stakeholders and executives at 1 p.m.? Because like I have a reputation in my organization being like the best in retrospectives and in Miro board, because facilitating retrospective is my favorite part of my job. And I was, okay, yes, I obviously would like to do it, but we have 10 minutes before the lunchtime. Do we have a template ready? And obviously no. This last minute decision, nobody had a template. And since I didn't want to sacrifice my lunch to find some like cool ideas, like I just showed you for OKR or like team alignment, and knowing that we will have VP or AVP people level, so probably like templates I have for my team, such as SpongeBob, wouldn't work with this level people working the first ever time in their life in Miro board. So I decided to be like as much conservative as possible, not sacrificing my lunchtime, and just create a board from scratch. So a few tips, if you need to create a board from scratch, it wouldn't be like as fancy as this one, but sometimes we just like need to drop a few stickers on the board and still have a productive discussion. That is the main point of this facilitating workshops, to have productive discussion. So let's see a few like basic tips. So first, if you need to prepare a Miro from scratch, so you can just type miro.new and it will bring you to the empty page where you can create from scratch. While it's loading, this is the first tip. So the second one, if you never worked with Miro, so how to navigate. So basically we navigate like zoom in or zoom out, or like you see this arrow, so clicking here, you see I have a hand, so kind of like can move using my mouse and this hand, but also I can use Control-1 because I have Windows, or Command-1 if you have Mac, so you see the whole scope of my presentation. Or if I want to point on the specific piece of work, for example, I just point of it, and instead of using zoom because it takes some time, I just press Ctrl-2, and you see it automatically showed us what I wanted us to show on a screen. So when you build the board in a very limited time, it's easier to use Ctrl-1 and Ctrl-2. It saves you time, especially when your lunch is in jeopardy, like mine yesterday. So what you need to do is to create a frame and then design inside. So as you see, like here, it's a frame with tips. I just made a simple design with stickers. So how to create the frame if you don't know. So here you see on the left side, the panel of tools, and you see frame. So just click on it. You can use like custom frame or A4 frame or like any other like types of frames. Many recommend to use like one-on-one frame. So it's square shape. I prefer custom, but for you, it's like up to you what you like to do. So here, like having this frame, kind of like create another frame, which I can custom. Why I can't? Let's try one more time. So yeah, customizing the frame, adjusting it to the current one, kind of changing its design, make sure that it's colorful, using another one and kind of like building it on an engaging way. So here we can place some like agenda, here we can place some rules, and here we can ask people, for example, to place stickers and work on stickers. So the simplest design is ready. And if we want to call it, instead of calling frame to address the issue of today, so QIP. So So basically, that's what I did yesterday, and people were happy because it was very simple. Another suggestion how to do it quicker, click on the sticker to get into writing mode and press tab to create a new sticky. So what I mean by that? So in Miro Boards, we can use the stickers like here, but every time if we need a sticker, and just like clicking on the tool and then bring the sticker to the board and adjust its size, so it takes longer time. So how to make it faster? So if I already have this sticker, for example, I'm going to the text mode. I just click tab and I have an identical sticker posted next to it. I'm clicking tab, another sticker, another sticker, another sticker. So that's how I can quickly multiply stickers in a limited of time. Next tip, use Smart Align. Select multiple widgets, for example, stickers, click the 4 dots and drag them. So right now, I kind of like made it beautiful and aligned, but let's create a mess. So what I mean by that, I'm clicking on my widgets. You see 4 dots. I'm clicking on them. We see they are kind of aligned, maybe not the best alignment I want, so I will eliminate layout. I don't want layout to be aligned, so I'm clicking here again. So stickers are aligned. You don't have to drag and drop to figure out the distance and make it nice and beautiful. So you just click on the stickers themselves, just 4 dots, and design is beautiful. Also, just rearranged the order. You can hide the content, or you can link the content, and you can lock your frame to make sure that people are not breaking it out. So I created another frame. So you see, if I click on the sticker, we can move them around. But if you have like 60 people on a call, and if they start like trying to type, if they are not familiar with Miro, instead of like typing, they might break your design. So if you want your design to be broken, you just click on the items you don't want to break and click on lock. So now you see, I can't move all of these stickers. Or if I want to move them, I change my mind. I'm clicking again here and pressing one time to unlock. So now they are unlocked again. So the same way we can lock, we can hide, and we also can link, especially if we have many frames and much information like in our OKR planning. Oh, it's loading again. So just trust me. You saw it that we have many slides there, many stickers, much information. So sometimes it's hard to jump from one piece of information to another, and we forget where it was, and we need to spend some time to find it. So if we know that some pieces of information are aligned with each other, we can link them with each other. So here you see I linked one piece of information, which is the basics. So if I want to jump in from layout to basics, I know this is not a big jump, but this workshop is small. So we can just link it. How to do it? I can press here. Now let's try this one. It takes a long time to upload. So if you press here, you press on your right bottom, so you will see link to pick an object on the board or pass the URL link, and so you can link the objects to each other. So that's how I linked it here. Or you can use, like, just click on the word and paste a link. That's how I did with Miro. So that's how you link objects with like different websites and also with different parts of the board. And the last trick I wanted to show you is to choose your own colors. So here, for example, you have different objects, but if you want to separate them by colors, if you click on the right bottom of your mouse, you see set colors and opacity. So we see some sets of colors already designed for us by Miro, and many don't know that we can change the palette if we don't like it, or if we want to adjust the colors and make it nicer. So if you don't like some colors, for example, you can simply eliminate them from the board. For example, just pick the color, change this right now. So if you pick the color and just drag and drop it, default colors. Oh, sorry. Let's try this one. So, and drag it out. So you see, you remove the color because the palette has a limited amount of colors, or like this one. We are dragging it out of the board and we are removing it. If we want to adjust the colors, press on the plus. You see the palette is appearing, so we can choose any color on the palette, or if you know a number of it, just simply choose a number. And that's how we see that the new color was added to our palette. So that's all simple tricks I wanted to show you. There are way more tricks how to use the Miro, but we also have like limited capacity in our memory, especially if you see this workshop the first time. And these are like the most valuable tricks for myself. You can find something else for yourself, but this is what I use for myself when I need to build the board from scratch. So I hope this was useful, and you're going to use it when you facilitate your own boards. Any questions on tips and tricks?
Question I didn't get: where we can find for each of those objects links. Yeah, for example, if I want to make a link for, let's say, first page, yeah, where can I find how to make it linked?
So you can copy this link. Copy the link. You want to link it, for example, to colors. You click on colors. You click on the link here, and you insert the link. Apply. So it's linked. So first you need to create the link yourself, and then link your created link to the object you want it to be linked.
Thank you, I got.
Thank you. Okay, if there is no further questions on that, just will quickly show you the toolbar. So I already saw that I used timer, again, one of the most usable tools for me. If we are talking about agile, like we can use even like planning poker here, the Fibonacci sequence, there is a use here on the top of the board. We can use voting, and if it is a bootcamp, I would ask you to vote on your favorite tip or trick. You can see like which one is the most favorite for the audience right now. We can, so I could use it on the presentation mode. So again, you see, it's kind of a PowerPoint presentation. But it would be difficult for me to present and to show the objects and how to work on Miro on the fly. That's why I didn't use the presentation mode. I used just basic mode. But if you don't need like to show how you build the board or just be like mainly a facilitator, you can use the presentation mode and you see how fancy it looks on this mode.